Hello and welcome to another Solana tutorial. Today we're gonna write our first program. Yes, we're finally gonna write programs for Solana. That's what they call smart contracts on other blockchains. On Solana, it's programs. So today we'll write our first Solana program. And I was actually thinking a lot about how I should approach that, right? Because I could go all in on the Rust side, or I use convenient frameworks such as Anchor that take a lot of the complexity away. And I finally decided that we're gonna use Anchor. I do want to get into the low-level Rust stuff eventually, but I just think that it's easier to get started by using a framework like Anchor. I mean, I also started learning how to program with Java, which abstracted the whole memory management away, but I did learn C afterwards, right? So we're gonna take the same approach today. Also, since this is the first time that we really do something with programs, except for the one that we deployed at the gem farm, I have not the expectation that we're gonna understand everything or that I'll be able to explain everything in detail to you. This is just my personal journey, my first experience. You know what? People tell me I should use a proper webcam with webcam on top. Boom. You like that better? Is that my face in better quality? Probably better. I'm not gonna re-say the things from the beginning though. I was just mentioning this is my personal journey learning how to develop programs. So I don't have the expectation of actually understanding everything already. We are slowly getting there. So if you expect an in-depth programming tutorial how to do that, that's not the right video. We are just in the learning process. We're just slowly developing our programming skills here. And as my first project, what I want to do today, I don't know. It's not gonna be perfect. It's gonna be fine. Also, I really prefer to be down. This just looks better from a video perspective. Anyhow, up or down, it doesn't really matter. Okay, let's stay up here because the people requested it. Fine. Okay, hello. So, the project that I want to work on today is my fee redeemer. So this thing should get a feature where it counts the total of Lamperts that have been redeemed with this program, or with this application, with this stuff. And for that we need some kind of counter, and like the counter is like the most basic example. Like every Solana programming tutorial starts with a counter. So this should be fairly easy to implement. We just want a simple counter that counts as our Lamperts that we redeemed. That's the goal for today. Not more, not less. So now that we've established what we want to do, let's see how we can actually do it. Anchor tutorial. Okay, so it's an official tutorial. Let's do that. I mean, we can also just, I actually want to start more from scratch. Let's just use the subsystem here because we know that we can otherwise not really deploy, I think. Anchor tutorial. Otherwise it sounds weird. Anchor init. What does that actually do? No idea. Give us an error. Name. Okay. Anchor init fee redeem counter. Yeah. What a great name. Okay. Now that thing is creating ourselves a new Anchor project and already fetching some NPM packages, I think. TS, yeah, that looks a lot like NPM. There we go, 50 seconds and we're initialized. We initialized our Now, what's in here? Well, that project. Well, what's in here? Okay, we have that Tommel cargo, we have the app, we have the installed NPM packages, we have the package.json programs tests. Okay, so app is probably front end. Okay. The librs is probably then our program, right? So actually, I would really like to work on a proper environment. There must be some kind of mount or media. Yeah, here we are. We're just gonna go anchor init fee redeem counter again, just in case it has some path shit as well. So you never know. Because now that we have that folder here, we can open it in Visual Studio. And then we put that here. Yes, I trust myself. There we go. Now we have that in here, which looks a lot nicer. As we said earlier, this is probably going to be our program. Yes, it declares the program ID. That's probably already the first thing that I want to change because I want my own freaking address here. So where can we find that? I mean, we can deploy to local net. Actually, if we're developing, it probably makes sense to not even work on Devnet, but first start on local net. On the other hand, fuck that shit. And my wallet, let's make ourselves a wallet real quick. Fee redeem authority, France. Okay, so I want this. Okay. Then we'll get ourselves some money. I still want the program to be somewhere else though. You know, what happens if we just hit anchor build, I think was a possibility. It's so nice to only have to work 6 hours a day, which means that starting 4 p.m. I can do more interesting shit, like deploying anchor programs. Yes, it does something. Building. Well, so far we didn't do much yet, right? We're just initializing an empty program and building an empty program. Yeah, now we're deploying. No. No. Okay, that's just warnings. We're not using the context, that's fine. I can deal with that warning. And that's how we deploy. And that's the key pair. So I find that in target deploy. Now, see, here is the thing. Does that key pair, I don't know where it comes from, hold that address? That's my question. I want to find out by saying Solana address. Don't remember how that went. Then I want the key pair to be the target deploy key pair JSON. No, that's something completely different. So what is that? Because that's going to be the address of the program. But why did Anchor put this here? Where does that come from? Because if I'm not mistaken, that should be the address of the program. And the address of the program is going to be this thing. That part I still don't understand. Maybe Anchor just put some random string in here, but then why would they do that? What I expect that we have to do, and don't quote me on this because I have no idea, is that we'll have to just take that thing and put it in here. But before we use that thing, I want my own thing. So let's do another quick little keygen because I like to grind. And we call that fee redeem counter. This will be too much, way too much. 5 is too much, even within our case. That looks good. Let's move the address which is created. Target. See, now I'm in the way again. I shouldn't have cleared. Target, deploy, and then the key pair JSON. Boom. Then if we now do that again, we get the fee redeem counter as our address. So that's my program address. And I think what I need to do, what I need to do is put that here, and save that. Put that here as well. And where else would I put that? I think that's good. So to our program, all that does on initialize, it says okay. there is a message. It's getting dark. Maybe I should turn lights on. Is that better? There is a message. I'm not sure if I can call that. Andy's first program got called bitch. But I don't write that because we don't want to swear on the public network. Wait, does Rust even do? Yes, Rust does do those. I have no idea. I never programmed Rust. So I don't know if I need to include that. This is just a macro. Macro, that's what it's called. For more things that it does. Yeah, with that amazing log message, let's build that again. We still have the context that we don't use. That's still okay. And to deploy, I think I can also do anchor deploy, which might call the same thing. Since it's already suggesting this, I'm just going to copy that and deploy my program to Devnet, I suppose. Now, we remember this from the video about the gem bank. And we know that we just need to be patient and ignore all of those messages. And then eventually it will not deploy. Fuck. Deploying failed. Custom program error. Oh, well. 0x1 usually means we don't have enough funds, right? Can we somehow calculate how many funds we need? It took 0.07 sol. No, 1.07. So let's just get ourselves just a little bit more capital. See, that's why you would work on localnet, because there you can just do an airdrop of 10,000 and nobody cares. Should we deploy to local? Nah. I want to deploy to Devnet because I like to wait longer. That's actually an argument. Nah. 6.9, that's good now. So let's try the deployment again. That's looking better. So it has cost us 2.2 sol. 2.2. We had 2. God damn it. Anyhow, so for only 2 sol, you can deploy a program that does essentially nothing. This shit is expensive. We've deployed it. Now what can we do with that? Well, first we can check if our program exists on Devnet. Yes. Yes. It has executable data, and I am the fee redeem update authority. Sounds good. Now, how do we call that program now? It has an initialize. How can I don't know. I don't tests. Is there a .env that we have? No, that's all in that file, I think. Yes. Target types should have this. Yeah. What's that? What was that called? The L something that describes what kind of functions my program has to call and how to call them with all the parameters and stuff. IDL, that was what is what's called. That's what it was called. God damn it. Oh yeah. Okay. So that's just a type. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Anyhow, we only have one instruction, and that is initialize. It doesn't take any accounts or arguments, and we can call it. Oh, because it's called the same, I can only open one of those two. Amazing. Thank you. What a great user experience. If I put that, no, literally no way. Fuck, stupid. Anyhow, from that file that we just looked at, it imports the program in that format such that we can then call the RPC dot and then our function name. So if we had other functions, then we could with RPC dot whatever count do our other stuff, but we just have initialize with 0 arguments, so that's probably what that is. And we can test that. So how do we test that? That's in tests. And it's a TypeScript, so I would assume I would do ts node tests and that thing. Nope. Describe is not defined. Well, anchor test. Do you do that? No, you don't. No. You don't do anything on chain. Fuck that shit. You shouldn't deploy. But yeah, where does the describe come from? All a bit confusing for now. Still, I mean, we will learn how all of that works. We will learn. We are learning how all of that works. Describe is not defined. And every good programmer knows that the first thing should be that you just Google the error message. And then you scroll to the answers, not even reading the question, if that's the same problem that you have. You have to run your test using mocha command instead of the node executable. So if you have already make sure it's longer and then run mocha in your project. Okay. It's that simple. Mocha. Well, then let's do that thing. Why not? 500 megabytes? I can't afford that. I'll have to afford that. This is starting to get frustrating. What? Even the lights die on me. Fuck. Yeah, that's all signs that I should just call it and come back later. Lights are dying on me. I'm running out of storage space. So yeah, I'll see you later. And we're back. We got the helmet stains, but we're well fed. And it's a good time. It's a good time to continue past 10 p.m. Less distractions. And get rid of that thing. Drop it. We are recording, that's good. Okay, so we left off at being able to run the test, but something with the RPC not working. Okay, well, the program, this thing being undefined. So we want to learn about Anchor. IDL program ID. You know what could be the case? Since I changed the program ID, I want to do it like that. And can I also do that? Probably, possibly. Okay. Test with skip deploy. Looks different. Looks different. See, you just need a few hours of break and everything is working better. Few hours of break and boom, everything works immediately. Ha! Not everything works immediately though. But it's pretty obvious what is the problem. We are requesting to localhost, which obviously is not where we want to go. So the program, by the way, where did I read that? The program contains, I read that here somewhere. Program. The program is an abstraction that combines the provider IDL and the program ID. Yeah. So we've got IDL, program ID, and the provider. We can still provide that here with the connection and the wallet. Oh yeah, the classic. The classic. Okay. Let's do that. I like it better that way because that way I know what I'm providing. And we've done those things at the airdropper, so let's just copy from there. I mean, we could also find out how they did it here, like where the environment, the provider gets the environment from. It's literally in the anchor toml. Okay. Provider. But here I say Devnet. And here I say wallet. But it doesn't seem to take that. Because it tries still to connect to local. Tries to connect to local and doesn't get the Devnet. Oh, programs.localnet. Devnet. Now we also provide the correct program ID here. So we were on the right path, like with the program ID. That was, I think that was the right way to go about this. And we're back to that era. Amazing. Huh? We got a passing test. Nice. Okay, so that's how it should be, right? You put the Devnet here, you put the Devnet here, and you provide the correct program ID. Okay, I mean we're starting to understand this. It's taking longer than expected, but we're getting this. We're getting this. Okay, and we did manage to get a signature, our transaction ID. Let's go to the Explorer on Devnet. Check this out. And if we scroll all the way down, then here, yes, we have an unknown program instruction, and the important thing, Andy's first program got called. Sweet. Oh yeah, it's past 10 p.m. I should probably be more quiet. Sorry, neighbors. We're still good. We're still good. We can do more than printing out the debug message. Okay, let's do more than printing out the debug message. Finally get to the interesting shit again. So back to our program. What can we now do here? Well. I'm just gonna do what I think we should do and then see if it works. Or count. Let's call it count. Why not? Do the same context. Let's just see if we can do that. Build. And then we see if in our testing part we can call count here. Oh, we of course won't be able to count because fallback functions are not supported, because obviously we didn't deploy the program. We just pretend it is there. Okay, but I understand. It's all good. We must not skip deploy. And now we can test with skipping deploy. Looking good. Then we can now see that my program is also counting. Good, except it's not really counting yet. Because to be able to count, we need an account. So let's get ourselves an account in here. Now I don't know any anchor, really. It was something along the lines of accounts, something like that. I just copy from above. No, let's not try and get this out of our heads. There are countless examples everywhere. Arguments and accounts. Account. Struct account. Yeah, okay. That's what we need. Fee counter. Number of closes. And we closed accounts and redeemed Lamperts. Those are the two things that I want to count. And the U64 should be enough for both of them. Very, very simple structure, just two integer values. How do we work with that? Something like that. Maybe that worked because it didn't need accounts. Anyhow, in Solana you need to provide the accounts. So for our count function that we define up here, we want the following accounts. We want one account, the fee, and that should be of type fee counter an account. That's that thing. We just need that one account. We don't need anything else. We just provide the account. Then we write to it. How do you write to an account? They literally both do the same, except that the initialize here initializes that account. Space. 8 byte. Okay, that's probably why. That's the 8 bytes that they're talking about here. So that's those 8 bytes for the anchor shit and then the 8 bytes for this thing. Okay, so we will need 8 plus 8 plus 8. In fact, let's do that. Let's update our init struct, which will now also need the info. Okay, when we initialize that fee account, which just provide an account for all that data. And we'll have a signer and we have the system program. Because we want to create an account, we need the system program to let us do that. So we'll also pass in the system program as an account for that transaction, for the initialize. And then inside the initialize, do stuff that we get from the context, which is going to remove our warning finally. And then into that account, we just write some shit like, what's a good init? 0. The Lampert's also 0. So our front end part for the is initialized, we need a new account. Web3. So the front end shit. Front end shit key pair. How does that work now to put that as an... Okay, the arguments we don't need yet, but the accounts we will need. Let's say accounts. The system program user is my public key. Get provider. .wallet public key. Possibly, because we set the provider earlier. Now we get the provider. I think that makes sense. Fee account is just this key pair here. That's the key pair for the account. Let's call it account key pair. And then we sign as this account key pair as well. For the account, we just need the public key. So which account do we write to? And then that we can prove that we can write to this account, right? We own this because we hold the private key, we sign it. So far so good. I think that makes sense. Makes perfect sense to me. So let's see if that will actually also work. Let's just do it in one by doing deploy and test. Deploy success. Ooh. That's ugly. Fee counter account not provided. Do I need to define that? Oh, something's wrong here. Doesn't like that. Fee, okay, I can't, did I spell it differently? There, fee counter account is not compatible with. Okay. That's how it's supposed to be. Okay. Sure. We're in JavaScript. That's the coding standard for here. And I think they translate it automatically. Some shit like that. Because here I called it like that. And then use a system program. And I think it translates to that. And system program as well. See? System program to system program. Okay. Then let's do that again. And we can skip deploy this time. That's good. That fails is perfectly fine for me. But this is working. Let's have a look. So we provided the following accounts. That's me. That's the account I created. System program and the program ID. We called the program, and the program did a create account instruction with the system program. So they called this system program, and this first program got called. Sounds good. We transferred 0.001 sol there to store those two integers. So it's 24 bytes, which makes sense because 16 for my stuff and 8 for the anchor stuff. That about sounds good to me. I would like to be able to look at this thing now and see what's actually there. But for that, I would need to get account info. The Explorer doesn't show that, unfortunately. Let's just continue our program, because that's the init that we just did. Now we want to do the count as well. So for the count, we again need the fee counter account, and I would really like to call it the same. Consistency, bitch, such that you know that that's the same thing. We do not need the system program or the user anymore. Why did we need the user here? Because he paid for it? Yeah, because he paid for it. Fun fact, that's also why you pay 0.00001 and not 0.5, because we had two signers, once the user and once the account. So that's why you pay double the transaction fee. So you pay the fee per signer, in case you didn't know that. You're waking up in 8 hours. Shut up. No, I'm not. It's Saturday tomorrow. Yeah, but that looks good. That looks good. Continue. Let's see. Let's just assume I don't need the user. And I want to do essentially almost the same thing, except is there a plus equals in Rust? Count +1 and Lampert's. Yeah, for now, let's just do 100. It doesn't matter. Counter was, and I think that's how you do it in Rust. And then provide argument here. Counter is, so let's just see if it increases that. We have to actually not skip deploy. Yeah, I could do it on local, which would be a bit faster, but I like to work on Devnet because then I can just conveniently use the Explorer. Actually, besides, it's fun to do stuff that you can then also see that I actually did it. But yeah, if I would develop a big application, I would probably do it on local first because it's just quicker. Oh yeah, obviously, we need to adapt that as well. That's not okay. Why do you need the system program? I told you you don't need the system program for count. Ha! That's my problem. The context. The context here needs to be count. That's why. Yeah. Okay. There we have it. No, not skipping. We deploy again. Put your hands in the air. Yeah. It's working. It's working. Look at that. The counter was 0 and the counter is now 1. I mean, that still doesn't mean that it's actually on the account that we provided here, but I'm fairly certain that it is. How would we write a test to actually check that? We would just do there we have it. Get account info. From the account key pair, public key, then just say buffer. Oh yeah, sorry, thank you. Read big int with little endian and an offset of 8 because the first 8 anchor thingies we don't need. And then let's also check the other one with 16. So the first one, remember, was closed accounts. Let's see. We're always using a new account every time, so that's why it doesn't count higher. But there you go. The counter for closed account is 1, and for Lampert's is 100. If we had, say, that test twice, then you would now see that closed account is 2, counter is, so that's working perfectly. That's working great. I love it. And essentially with that, we're basically done. No, we're not done. Now, we do want to learn how to use arguments as well now. We don't want to just use 1 and 100. We want to use arguments that we provide. So that has also already been in this tutorial, and it's really not hard. So in here, we just also provide, I think, as many arguments as we like. So for the initialize, we don't want more, but for the count, and then we just basically use those values here. That's pretty much it. Whoa, what's happening here? Oh, snake case. It likes snake case. Okay. You like snake case, you get snake case. And while that compiles, while that builds, while that deploys, we write the tests properly. First of all, we only do one count. And in this count, we also provide the arguments now. How does that work? So the args first, big number. So we closed 42 accounts and redeemed something Lamperts. I didn't count zeros, but let's see. Yeah, that doesn't work now is understandable. Let's see if it works this time. Yes, that's better. Look, 42 and whatever. Nice. Cool. And that's basically already the basic program that we need, right? I mean, of course, we can improve upon that. We can make it a PDA and not an account that we have to provide to the program. And also those numbers, ideally, I wouldn't have to put them in from the front end, but have them be derived from the transaction. Actually, would that be that hard? I know that the candy machine does some funky stuff like that. So there, that's the code. Suspicious transaction. I think somehow it finds the last transaction and then sees if the last one is the candy machine v2, the program ID from. But that is already very hard to understand what they're doing here. This is gonna be more hardcore than I thought it would be. Actually, I shouldn't do this at the very first. I mean, it is very interesting, but it's also not so important. If somebody really wants to hack me and modify my counter, then, well, have fun. I'm gonna at least do one thing just so we try out conditionals as well. If closed accounts is larger than, say, 40, lol, then I want an error. I have no idea what I put in here. How do you do errors? Is there? Yeah, there's an errors thing. Let's do that. Just so we learn how to do an error. We do error code. Stop messing with me. Many closes. Yeah, too many closes. Then into whatever that is. Use it that way, and then parenthesis, remove parenthesis. Apparently Rust doesn't do that. Fine with me. Syntax be syntax. Looks good. We can also use error codes. Nice. Yeah, keeping it simple. Let's keep it simple. Fuck. Oh no. Yes. Stop messing with me. Love it. Love it. And then if in the test we now say, okay, that's cool, dude, only 35 accounts were closed in this transaction, then my program will be like, all right, all smooth. Sweet. I love it. Oh, this is so cool. This makes me happy. I mean, basically that's it. Basically, that's all I need, really, right? We have a program where we can initialize. One question. How much did it actually cost us? So this is not a lot, but this is the account that needs quite a lot. So 2.13 sol. That is quite a lot, though. But I kind of do want to deploy this program on mainnet. Put that in perspective, that's 200 euros. That's 200 euros. Yeah, if I want to be able to deploy programs to Solana, I need quite some capital in there. So that's what justifies for me keeping to buy Sol every once in a while if I have capital lying around. Anyhow, so where do we find 2 Sol now? I guess from here. We need 2.4 to be sure. That's gonna be 230 euros. God damn. Can I write that off as a business expense? Fee Redeemer Authority. And all of it. Boom. Let's go. Cool. Initiated. Now we wait. Patiently. 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 Probably better if I walk away. I mean, it's just initiated. This is gonna take a while. Actually, now coming to think of it, before we do that, it would probably be a good idea to integrate the things into the fee redeemer on Devnet. Yeah, that would make sense. Let's do that. Let's do that. Since we don't have anything to do here anyway, except waiting for funds to arrive. Nice. Okay. We have the money here. Do we deploy the program now, or do we first integrate it into the fee redeemer? Probably a better idea to first integrate it to see if it actually works, right? Before we spend that money. So let's open the fee redeemer. Fee redeemer, let's just try and get it to display the value first. So just read the account. That's done in the header. I'm coding all night long. I'm coding all night long. Okay. Well, let's see if that works. Let's spin up the fee redeemer. What does the console say? Type error. Buffer is not a function. Let's do some logging. We get the... Looks good. That's the account. We get the data. So that's the anchor stuff. That's the first account, so 35 on the first. And that in combination is the whatever big number that we put in there. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So we get the right account. The question is, why does it not like... Oh, I had this before. In the browser, those functions don't exist. I had that problem before. There. Not available in older versions, such as when using the browser. Yeah, I was checking if that exists, then I do it my way, and otherwise I did a complicated byte blah blah. I mean, it's only midnight, so let's implement our own implementation of that shit. I'm coding all night long. 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 I like that. But as I said, I didn't put the things still worked with like Sol, and we want to work with Lamperts, so we divide by Solana Web3. Lamperts per Sol. Approximately. I'm a little off, but I think it works. But that's just the displaying part. Now comes the actual sending the transaction part. Oh, this project is getting bigger than I thought. I thought this would be a quick little thing that we do here. No. Nothing is quick and little with me. I'm coding all night long. Now we need to find out how to only make the instruction and not the entire transaction from such a thing. So I don't want to call the RPC. Candy machine program instruction. I mean the NFT, maybe I can do that. That would be cool. Program instruction. Yeah. Nice. So we don't remote procedure call, we just create the instruction. That's how it's done. Sweet, sweet Jesus. Now, how do we get the program in here, though? I'm coding all night long. 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 Yeah, I just import the IDL. That's so much easier. I'm coding all night long. I'm coding all night long. Is that any different now? How is that any different now? Fuck you. Fuck you. How is that any different? If it compares, it compares. That's looking better now. I mean, that doesn't look so good. Oh, wait. That looks good. That doesn't. That looks good. Let's ignore that shit. But that looks good now. That looks amazing. We just did a transaction. Look. We did a transaction where we interacted with the fee redeemer counter. And we did the count instruction. And total of 70 and 8. I mean, it took those two arguments. I mean, the arguments are not correct. Oh! Because obviously the arguments are still copied the same shit. Yes, the arguments are correct. I'm just not using the correct ones. But that already looks good. That already looks very good. So fee redeemer here, obviously I'm not using the correct ones. I'm coding all night long. Let's do that. Create ourselves another account here. We have no empty accounts. We refresh. We have one empty account of 002 with 0801. We redeem. We approve. We redeemed. Now we need to wait a little bit for the maximum confirmations to come in. And then we refresh. And we see we have 0, but the total went to 0803. Because that's working now. Oh, I love this shit. Okay, but I will call it a day here. 2 a.m. is also a good time to go to sleep. And we will continue here tomorrow. But that's the first program. That's the first program on Devnet. Tomorrow we will bring it on mainnet. But that's still a good place to end this video, right? We accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. We don't need to put it on mainnet. We will, but maybe let's make this a different video. And before I can go to sleep, let me go down here. We have to, speaking of mainnet, go back to mainnet. Check if people send me NFTs. The Royal Society. Wow. Collection of only 333. Wow. Is that Mario on the mask? This is a weird combination of stuff. but I kind of like it. I especially like that guy. I mean, the colors. The colors, it just works so well. And 101, that's kind of one of my favorite numbers. I love that one. That's cool. Edition what? Edition Kongs? With the Ethereum glasses. We had that. This is also new. Oh, I love that people send me so many NFTs. This is amazing. A newborn iguana paper hand. The Solana gift here still displays as Solana gift again. Is that the old one? Wait, that's the old one. We have a new Solana gift. We have a new Solana gift NFT that we can burn again. By the way, if you don't know how to burn those shit tokens, I made a video about that. Right here. Yeah, you should totally go watch that. Send the tokens to me or burn them yourself. And then go to the fee redeemer that can now, not yet, but soon, count what you redeemed. Oh, I love this. Okay, so thank you for watching. I hope that you learned something. I definitely learned some. Tomorrow, we're gonna deploy to mainnet. But this was a good first hands-on experience writing my first program. I'm happy. If you're happy, leave me a like, subscribe, join the Discord. I do want to get into programming a bit more, but not past 2 p.m. after we've already been coding for another 4 hours. So yeah, gotta call it a day at some point. And that point is now. So good night. And I'll see you next time. Go watch these. You can see some stuff that YouTube recommends, and you can go see how you can burn your scam tokens. That's my 2 suggestions for you. And I'll see you next video where we deploy to mainnet.